But yeah, it's just an unfortunate freak accident that no one could do anything about. It was.
And Joe, in your career, you've been right at the top. You've played in the Premier League. You've pretty much done it all. Just why did you care so much about getting back?
Ready? Rolling?
So I'll kick it off for a start. If we could talk for a start through your career and give the guys some of the background about how you progressed through the ranks, I guess.
Started off when I was 8 at Middlesbrough, carried on through the academy, played for the first team at 19. I had like a really good season, first season in the Championship with Middlesbrough under Gareth Southgate. And then I managed to get a move to Villa when I think I was 21 at the time, so I was still quite young. Signed for Villa, played the first season with Villa. Yeah, I went on loan a few times, went to Brighton for a season, went to Sheffield Wednesday for a little bit, and I signed for Cardiff. And then Cardiff was there for 5 years, had a really good time, got promoted to the Premier League with Cardiff, and then signed for Wigan after 5 years, had 2 years there, and then eventually ended up at Oxford. Yeah.
And obviously jumping onto Oxford, what was the process of like when you first got in touch to the club to when you actually got a longer term contract?
Yeah, I think I was telling you before, but it was a bit of a strange period. I was out of contract in the summer, so I was waiting about. I thought something would come up and nothing came up. It was November going into December and still without a club. And I actually spoke to my agent maybe about retiring, and then I get a phone call from my agent saying that Oxford left back had got injured, Greg Lee. Got injured, and did I want to come in for a 2-week trial? So I'd never been on trial before. Like, it was a bit of a strange situation, but I said yes to it because obviously nothing else had materialised with another club. So came in, did the 2-week trial, got offered 2-month contract up until January, end of January, and yeah, I just went for it. I thought, why not? Go for it, see if I can play some games, maybe I could get a contract to the end of the season, and then that's what happened. Managed to get a contract till the end of the season, and then played, obviously because Greg was out, played quite a lot of games. I think I played like 12 games. As soon as he came in, I had a few weeks training and played them games, and signed in the summer. They offered me another year because they thought I'd done well, which is obviously exciting, because then I had a little bit of security for the family that I was another year in football, after obviously speaking about retirement. And then obviously everyone knows what happened with getting promotion, so it was a bit of a whirlwind, like 18 months really. Like, it was from being out of contract to actually getting promotion to the Championship. It was crazy time. Yeah.
Could we speak about the promotion?
I'd never played at Wembley in a final before, and we knew we had just a big chance to get promoted. And obviously, knowing that the club had not been in the Championship for, I think, was it 25 years, I think. So we knew the importance it was to the fans and the club, and we just really wanted to get it over the line. And thankfully the day just worked out perfectly, yeah.
Can you just talk us through that match day?
Yeah, talking through the injury, I think it was just a freak accident really. Not sure if anyone's seen it back, but I literally go to plant my foot and my foot turns in the opposite direction just as I plant to go and pass the ball, so didn't really know what to expect. I knew at the time that it probably was serious with the amount of pain that I was in. As soon as I went back into the changing rooms, my foot was like a balloon, it was so big, so I knew something serious had happened straight away.
Where were you when it happened, when you found out?
One of the staff behind the scenes came up, found me and said, you need to go downstairs now to the tunnel, to the players' changing rooms. Joe needs you, he needs you to take him to the emergency. So I went downstairs and he was on crutches already, and I was just like, my whole body just flooded with dread, because we'd been in a similar position a couple of years ago when he was at Cardiff and he did his ACL. And all those sort of memories came back, and I just knew everything from his mood. Just generally, it was gonna be hard.
So I went to see a surgeon up in London at the 40th, and yeah, had a look at it and basically said that it's probably a 6-month injury, which was, at the time, it was like, I was devastated. Obviously worked so hard to get a club, started the season, and then to get news like that, it was just heartbreaking really. So they didn't really know what had happened until I had the MRI scan, which obviously came back that I tore my Lis franc ligament in my foot. I was asking the doc what it was, and he said it's basically what holds your bones together in your foot, on the top of your foot. And without that, your bones can shift left or right. So when he said that, I knew straight away that it was a really serious injury.
So where have they done the surgery?
So I apologise for my talk.
That's all right.
I think what they've done is they've put a metal plate on the first metatarsal and the second metatarsal to keep it together. So they've screwed a square plate, two screws in this metatarsal and 2 screws in the big metatarsal to actually keep them together.
Yeah.
Because the ligament tore, so that meant my metatarsals shifted to the left.
From my point of view, if you remember after the operation, I was pleased we did the operation.
Yeah.
You had got a lot of instability there.
Yeah.
It is sort of multi-directional, so that's why we did use the plate and screws, and we got really good stabilisation of it.
Yeah.
It's just so frustrating for you because of everything that's happened with getting your contract and starting the season so well.
Yeah, it's frustrating because
You're finally back.
I was back
regular football.
Yeah. It's just one of them things. You just gotta get on with it and just give it your best. But I knew that I could get back from it. I knew that I'd always been determined to get back from injuries, and I was determined to get back from this one. Yeah.
And did you have many dark days through this period?
Yeah, I had a few dark days, to be fair, obviously. So I had surgery and then I was put in a boot, in a cast, with crutches. That was horrible because just coming home and just doing normal stuff that you wouldn't think about. So just getting through that period was difficult. I couldn't do any gym, I couldn't run, I couldn't do the bike, I could hardly get any treatment because obviously the boot on my foot. Just felt just lonely time really, just on your own, and I think just a lot of frustration with not being able to walk at the time.
What were those first few weeks like when you found out of the injury? Did it affect family life maybe?
it was sort of, we'd go day to day, and he was in a lot of pain. He was like, it was just painful for a long time, and I think that just got him down so much. And it's a knock-on effect, because then everyone's sort of treading on water around him in the house. And we have 4 children. Our house is very busy, very chaotic, so it's testing at times as well. And the children are they're active and they want to do things, they want to go out. And when Joe initially, at first, he couldn't walk, he was on the sofa day to day. So he missed out in a lot of family activities, and the children sensed that as well.
But I just knew that I had determination to get back. I knew that I had strong mentality, I had a willpower, and I'd done it before. So I knew that all them characteristics were in my favour, and I knew that I could get back from it. Yeah.
What were the first few days like when you first returned to the training ground with the boys again?
I think just happy that I was back in the building. Obviously I spent a bit of time not being in, getting surgery, and then when I come back in with crutches, it was just a bit of a mood lifter with the boys being around. Everyone was great with me when I first came in, helping me out.
Within those months, you obviously had stages where you made huge progress, talking about when you first got back onto the treadmill with all the gravity support, and then the moment when you were going on the treadmill and walking on the grass with no support whatsoever.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how you went through those stages?
I think I probably made the most improvement when I started walking on the gravity with so it's a machine where your body, you're in like a harness and your body's lifted up to try and minimise the pressure put on your foot. So I was doing that for 3 or 4 weeks. From being on crutches and being in the boot, that was probably the best feeling of actually starting to walk again. And then obviously out on the pitch, first session out on the pitch was still really sore. Like I was running and I was thinking, should I actually be running on this, because it's actually killing my foot. But I just pushed through it, asked Lou, the physio, if I'm still meant to feel pain, and he said, yeah, it's normal. Surgeon said it's normal, so I was running through pain for a lot of the time, but I'm obviously still getting a little bit of pain now when I'm playing, which is sorted out with a few painkillers. But yeah, just that first week was massive for me, out on the pitch and out on the grass again. Yeah.
It's worth in doing all this, but this just shows like how important all that hard work is you put in, because you've been so dedicated to it.
Yeah, because no one wants to go to the training ground every day and just be in the gym and getting treatment. It's not why you're a footballer. You want to be out on the grass, and when you're watching games, you want to be involved. And for the last 3 months, I've not been able to do that. So I see there's a light at the end of the tunnel now, and I'm close to getting back. So hopefully that's the case. Yeah.
Through these stages, did you always know that you were going to get back this season, or did you ever have any thoughts in your mind that you doubted yourself maybe?
Yeah, I doubted it when I first went out onto the grass. I thought, I'm nowhere near where I want to be. I was watching training at the time. After I'd do a session, I was like, I literally can't do any of what the boys are doing, like short, sharp turning, striking a ball. I couldn't really kick a ball. It was hurting me so much at the time. And I just felt miles off it. I was so close to being back, but I was like just so far. I felt so far from where I was previously. Everything in my body just felt different, and yeah, there were times where I was questioning whether I was going to get back to my old self.
Yeah. Will the pain gradually ease off then? Yeah.
My feeling is it will do. I think that will gradually settle down, but it may take another 3 to 6 months to settle down.
Right. Okay.
It's a big injury, and this frank injury
Yeah.
and Natalie is big.
Right. Okay.
So I'm confident that it'll gradually improve. It has been improving since the last week, just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I think it may take 3 to 6 months to settle down fully.
Right. Okay. From now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And before you got on the pitch, there was a few games when you were a substitute, I believe. What was it like when you just started travelling with the squads again and getting used to that life?
Yeah, it was nice just being back in the squad. I actually wasn't really too bothered or fussed about playing. I just wanted to be back in the squad and available if needed, which was exciting. And then obviously Greg got injured, I think did his hamstring, so I was out the squad at that time watching from the stands, so I knew that probably my time was going to be the next game, and that's what happened with the next game. I think West Brom away, so yeah, managed to play that game, which was really good to be back, really good just warming up and knowing that you're playing and back from a massive injury. Yeah.
And West Brom away, that's the game which didn't quite go so swimmingly for you, did it?
No, it didn't go to plan. Obviously I'd not played any reserve games or games leading up to that. I was training for a good, I think probably a month or over a month. And yeah, I felt good, felt fine, played 90 minutes. I think at 70 minutes, the management shouted over to me and asked me if I was okay, carry on the game. I think I wanted to make a sub. I think it was the last sub. So I said, yeah, I'm fine. You don't need to bring me off. And then I think like 5-10 minutes later, I pulled my quad. Yeah.
And the injury again, did you feel a little of here we go again, or did you know it was just going to be a light one?
I knew obviously it wasn't as serious as my foot. I've had muscle injury before, so I knew kind of how that felt. I knew at the time it didn't really feel that bad, to be fair. Probably like I thought maybe a couple of weeks and then I'd be back. And then I got the scan and it was a 3C hamstrings, which they told me it was 6 to 8 weeks. So that was obviously, I was devastated at that because it didn't feel bad. It felt fine at the time. And yeah, I just had to get my head around that again, being injured again after just coming back straight away, and something that I just cracked on with. Yeah. I'd always been professional. Whenever I got injured, I'd always done everything right, slept right, ate, drank, did extra outside of football, and that's something that I did again. They said 6 to 8 weeks, but I think in the end I managed to get back in 5 weeks, which was unheard of for a 3C hamstring. I think it was training after 3 weeks, I think.
And a return to your former side, Cardiff City, how was that?
Yeah, that was massive for me. Obviously, I've been there for quite a while, 5 years. Yeah, it was just a really nice feeling for me and my family to go back and play in that game. Yeah.
Do you think your injuries this season have changed you at all and who you are?
Probably not changed me. I think it's a good question, really. I'm not sure. I think I've always been. I think I've always been strong-minded. I've always had a good mentality, especially with injuries. So just obviously a little bit more resilient, and dealing with downs and dark days. I think sometimes you can get used to it, being in a good position, and then something comes round the corner and really just stops you, really, and that's what happened this season, and I'm just so grateful that I got through it and actually managed to play some games in the end and help the club. Yeah.
And Joe, in your career you've been right at the top, you've played in the Premier League, you've pretty much done it all. Just why did you care so much about getting back?
I think just prove some people wrong. I think a lot of people wrote me off saying that was me for the season. I don't know, I've always wanted to prove people wrong, whether that's managers or someone saying you're not good enough or you're not going to get back from injury. It's always been like a motivation for me to, if someone's, like the doc said, 6 to 8 weeks, like, no, that's like, I'm not doing that, I'm doing 4 weeks. Like, I've always been the one to try and prove, obviously, doubters wrong, and people saying that I wasn't going to play again, probably the final game for Oxford, really made me push myself, and You feel good after it when you come through that and you've actually done that and helped the club and helped the team. Yeah.